This is episode 1 of a new series I'm starting, so let me know if you like it. And if you have any more theories you want me to review in the comments, let me know, and I will look at them in the next episode. Probably going to be a weekly or every 2 weeks kind of deal, but it's really fun. So please enjoy. All right, here's the deal. I had so much fun with yesterday's video that I wanted to talk about some more theories before I got a lot to do this weekend. So before the weekend really starts off, I wanted to make another video talking about some more theories. Um, My other Chrono Trigger episode is coming out later today. Don't worry. I recorded it. I pre-recorded it, so I would be able to come out. But I found a few like Reddit threads here, which again, I don't have Reddit, so I don't really integrate social media that much. But in this, I don't know if it'll be as iconic as the Green Gaster thing, which is I'm still reeling from yesterday. But I keep thinking about it. It's like it's so crazy. But I found some like just some general Deltarune Chapter 5 predictions from some people, and give them a shout out. I'll link to these in the excuse me in the video description. Give them some attention, and we can talk about them because I want to hear your guys' thoughts on some of these. So this one kind of caught my eye at first. Chapter 5 will finish off the story at least in some way. Um, all I saw was this, and I was like, interesting. I wonder what this means. I noticed a lot of people seem to think Deltarune's story will be a continuous plotline from chapter 1 to chapter 7. And while I think there is certainly are aspects where that would be the case, I believe chapter 5 will at least wrap up a few aspects of the plot. You're talking like a time skip here or something? I definitely think it'll wrap up some things. I don't think that like chapter 7 will reveal everything. I think that these last two chapters are where stuff is gonna start to get revealed. I think the end of chapter 5 is gonna have like a crazy reveal. I guess the night was already revealed, but that wasn't actually as big as a reveal as we thought, as like we kind of worked it up to be. Um, so yeah, I like the idea of chapter 5 having some kind of big reveal at the end that kind of reshapes the way that we think about theories in the game itself. You see, chapter 5 will be available to purchase. Wait, oh, this is before. Oh shoot. Well, okay, actually, I'm still going to read this because 5 still isn't out, and this is back when 3, 4, and 5. All right, well, let's see if Oh, never mind. This is outdated. Gosh darn it. Hold on. I should have made sure. Okay, this was 1 month ago. This is 4 months ago. All right. Off to a bad start. I'll look at some more of these and I'll make sure that they're okay. Yeah, here's another one. My humble theory. Okay. Um, spoilers, obviously. Okay. Starting off strong here. I do like the idea though. I did get that thought out that I'm glad I did because that idea is still really cool to me. Like the idea of chapter 5 revealing something that will like wrap up big moments in the story. Anyway, in Deltarune, light-rolled objects often transform into symbolic weapons in the Dark World. EX, Chris's pencil the sword, right? Asgore is tied heavily to farming and gardening. I could see a future chapter showing him on his flower farm, chapter 5, with a digging fork. Maybe he has an emotional moment, slams it into the ground, and unintentionally opens a new fountain. Alright, that's kind of goofy, but, sure. That same digging fork could then become his Dark World weapon, a parallel to his Undertale trident, but a more grounded than who he is now. Oh, okay. I like it. I like it. I don't like the idea. Well, actually, I kind of do. I've always kind of gone back and forth of like the idea of do all the dark fountains have to be in hometown? I still do think the flower shop is the most likely thing, but like, the idea of like all these like locations you're going around in the light world segments are teasing new dark worlds. We get to dissect them. I really enjoyed that more than anything. But I do the idea I always had that was kind of outlandish, but I thought it'd be fun is if like Azrael's college was a chapter, like chapter 7 or something was Azrael's college. And then it ended with like the bunker because I think like it'd be cool for like that would be a huge dark world if you think about it. Like a huge school related dark world that has like all these different buildings and stuff. I'm in college right now, and part of me going there was like, man, this would be a cool dark world. It's like the whole college. It have to be a big fountain, obviously, but I don't know. That could be interesting. But yeah, stuff like that. Like it doesn't have to be in hometown. It could be outside of it. So, but I do think that if there is a chapter 5 flower dark world, it's going to be Asgore's shop. Here's what gets even crazier. In chapter 4, when you play as Chris's soul and dig through the vent, you hear Asgore mention the black shard. Okay, here we go. What if he places that shard inside a flower bouquet or even inside a TV in his flower shop? That could lead to a terrifying boss battle, almost like a callback to Photoshop Live from Undertale. What does the black shard become, though? Like, I don't understand what this is assuming. Um, yeah, the black shard. I don't know. I guess like if the black shard like in the dark world becomes, well, I don't know because it was a sword. I don't know about that. I don't really get that. I do think it would be cool to have like a crazy Photoshop flowery-esque nightmare fuel boss fight. I definitely think that there's gonna be something at the end of near the end of the game. Like, the ending of Undertale was so insane. It's my favorite video game ending of all time. That or Little Nightmares too. But yeah, like just the idea of like having another like there was the whole like Photoshop IC idea, which I think is cool. I guess it's still possible, even though the gumball thing didn't quite pan out. I was kind of hooked on that theory a little bit before 3 and 4 came out. I thought that'd be neat. And anyway, if that happens, Asgore's story could tie together themes of flowers, loss, and corruption in a way that mirrors his Undertale self but feels fresh in Deltarune. Ah, my brain hurts thinking about this. What do you think? Will Asgore's weapon really be a digging fork, or could the Black Shard TV be the real setup for his Dark World boss fight? I don't get the Black Shard TV thing. Is there some kind of like? Hold on, let me look up Deltarune Black Shard. Hold on. Deltarune Black Shard Asgore theory. Not Black Knife. I hate the AI stuff. I ask her maybe the key to everything. I haven't watched this video. Maybe I should watch it. I haven't watched this video either. Driving. Let's see here. This is just the wiki. Maybe see if maybe I can because I don't know enough about, I mean, I know about the weapon, the Black Shard, but like the idea of rules card. Why was his thing changed 40 minutes ago on the wiki? The Black Shard is a sort of weapon, the strongest weapon currently available. It spices the thorn range attack. Additional damage that throws a dark element. I knew that. What is he gonna talk about? Asgore. Secret Asgore scene. That's it? My friend's playing Silk Song. Good for him. I don't know if I'll ever finish that game, unfortunately, because it's very, very long. And I have a lot of other things I love other games to play. It's really good. It's amazing. But I got all the things in Act 3. I'll beat all the bosses in Act 3, and I'm just kind of like, all right, I don't know what else I want to do. I've played it for so long. All right. Whoa, that's something else. But we will talk about that. I guess yeah. I guess this is over. So yeah. Maybe it'll show here like TV and then yeah. Okay. Oh, because the TV. Wow, I never actually even thought about that. The TV in Omega Flowey. Could that be like partially talking about Tenna stuff? Could there be a reference to Tenna stuff and maybe a reference to? Okay, so you're saying like the Black Shard is what like corrupts this TV in the. That could be cool, but I also don't know if Chapter 5 would have something like that. And the idea of well, because the Black Shard just becomes a weapon. Like I really don't know how the black unless the Black Shard is like a shadow crystal, but even then. The Black Shards definitely have more power, but they're definitely something different from the Shadow Crystals. I always wonder if the Black Shards and the Shadow Crystals have some sort of connection. I don't know. This is an interesting. I like the Asgore part of it. The other part of it's a little fuzzy, but I enjoy that. All right, let's talk about my humble theory about Chapter 5. Spoilers, which you probably don't care about. I don't. Okay, so this is. Wait, can I full screen this? Okay. We've got something. Okay, this is Undertale related, which already, I mean, I'm a pretty big like Undertale and Deltarune, and I don't like them to connect. I don't know why I've always been that way, but like, I just I don't know. I feel like I love Deltarune so much, and I loved Undertale too. Like I loved Undertale before Deltarune. Don't get me wrong. Like that way, I discovered that game and fell in love with it and the characters and stuff before I did anything Deltarune related. But Deltarune, I think, is just so much grander, and there's so many more characters and so many more jokes, so much more music. There's just so much more there. Um, and Undertale is such like a defined, singular story. That the only thing that I enjoy thinking about in terms of there's a few things. I like the Undertale. I like the Sans stuff. I like the idea of Sans being from Deltarune and him getting transported to Undertale. And obviously, I like the Gaster stuff. But everything else, I kind of like to stay separate. But we'll see. I mean, I don't want to judge this theory based on just that first. But it starts with the festival. All right, I do like the festival idea. Meet Susie's parents, go on a date with Birdly, weird route stuff, all that. Okay. No, I don't. That not very descriptive, but yeah, I like this image here. Um, meet Susie's parents. Uh, Susie's parents. I always wonder if Susie is living alone because like I feel like people would talk about her parents, right? Well, I guess no one really knows Susie. She's kind of an outcast. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe at least Noelle would have to know. I guess no one really knows. She never talks about it. Susie doesn't. Hmm. I also feel like this could be a joke theory, which I'm excited for. But let's see. Subplot. We will go in here first, checking on your dad. Okay, here for I do think I've had this theory that I think there's gonna be two Dark Worlds in Chapter 5, and that's why it's so big, and he had to release it separately. I think there's gonna be a Flower Shop Dark World and a Festival Dark World, because I just think that'd be cool, and I think it'd be cool to have two mini Dark Worlds. I think Toby could do a lot of ideas there. And anyway, uh, that's a different thing. Chase out, huh? What? Asgore from the flower shop at the end, learning his secret, then going to Noah's house, and Asgore went there. His secret about Des? What secret? He has a lot of secrets. The Des stuff, the Carol stuff, the Black Shard stuff. What are we talking about here? Only to find out a fountain has opened, and Asgore went to the parents' room, needing a key, like in every chapter, to unlock the door that leads to a shadow crystal. What? The parents' room? Can you give clarification in the comments? Wait, Bradley? Did it say Bradley? I didn't even read that. I didn't even. My brain didn't even process that. Go on a date with Bradley. Um. Oh, they may just. I don't know. Well, okay, maybe he means. Maybe this poster means that he's Asgore is going into Carol's room. I don't know. I think there's definitely some theories I've missed out on. I'm have to catch up on. I don't like watching video. I like more. I'm more like the reading, the coverage stuff. I don't like watching videos because then you just go watch a video yourself. You know, I'm not gonna just react to a theory video. Um, but with this stuff is different. Anyway, but I do think that there might be like I might have missed out on something that I'm gonna have to catch up on because I've been away for a while. Mini bosses like a gauntlet. Yeah, I know. People always think that. I think that these are going to be characters in the Dark World, but I don't think they're going to be bosses. I think they're going to be like, it's just too obvious. It's like right on the open. I think I think they're going to be kind of characters that appear. They all kind of like different personalities. Maybe it's like I hate to bring this up because I hate these characters, but like a better version of like the Mono Cubs from Danganronpa 3, where they kind of like interact with each other and like make silly quips and help you on the Dark World. I think that'd be fun. I think if they all different personalities, kind of Seven Dwarves esque, that'd be kind of fun. Antagonists who probably won't have a battle, but they'll command the enemies. Um, Hmm. I feel like the Roaring Knight. I don't think the Roaring Knight plays well with others like this. Other Darkners, at least. I mean, he kind of just manipulates them, or she, or they, whatever. We saw the Tenna stuff go down. Asgore, I think it'd be cool if maybe these were bosses. It'd be cool if he was leading them on. Enemies like the cups. Okay, yes, these little things are like the Cuptons. And then these are some uniquer enemies. The TV. Listen, we're gonna go here for a second. The green. He put him in green. I don't wait. I don't know what it's supposed to be an anime or something that I don't reference. Um, let's talk before we continue on with this humble theory. Let's talk about this because I really want to know. I hate. Wait, am I showing my cursor? Let me just make. Yeah, I am. Doodle. Look at this portal. I hate. Again, because I'm talking about the Flowey stuff. I hate the idea of Flowey just being. So like, I'll go through and get. This is my. If we're gonna go from like fourth is the worst to one is the best in terms of how much I like these. Obviously, this is a joke one. Actually, I don't think it's gonna be Gaster. So we'll just name it down to these three. So we'll do three. Actually, honestly, we'll include Gaster because I'll put well, in terms of how much I'd enjoy it, I'll put Gaster over Flowey. I would hate if Flowey appeared in chapter 5. I would hate it, and I would hate it because I hate the idea of like because Flowey is so integral to Undertale. Like Flowey is the whole idea of Undertale, the whole Killer Be Killed, like the main villain, Asriel, everything about Flowey is Undertale. If Flowey showed up at Deltarune, it would have to be a stripped version of Flowey's personality, right? It would have to focus on like the cynical stuff, the haha, like I'm evil. And it couldn't talk about the lore and stuff because first of all, Asriel's in college. So it can't even be associated with Asriel if it's in a dark world. Now, if Flowey does show up in a dark world, maybe I can find some way. Maybe Toby could do it well. But I feel like that'd be more of a chore than it would need to be. You know, like just don't include him at all. I think. So yeah, Flowey is definitely a 4 for me. Gaster would be funny. I'll put another 3 because I would be shocked and it would be cool. But definitely, I don't know about. I think actually chapter 7 is when he's gonna show up. I think that he's gonna be an omnipotent guy. And then we got Petaley and Woody Theory. Now, here's an interesting thing. Petaley and Woody Theory. I Ooh, I never actually thought about them in conjunction, like the idea of like the flower cowboy character or just like a cowboy character. I think it's more likely to be. I'm putting number one at Woody Theory. I'm putting number two at Petalee because I definitely think it could be a flower boss, and if it's a flower boss, maybe it could be cowboy themed. But black and white, all the stuff about the cowboy stuff, the black and white TV, Asgore's favorite show, blah blah blah, all that stuff, seems to me that this is more likely that um yeah, like it seems to me that all you see no shut up. Like all the stuff about the TV and what the cut content chapter 3 about like Asgore's favorite puppet show and even the stuff that was already in chapter 3 talking about the puppet show like um I just feel like that is a way more likely idea. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I was a big Woody Theory denier back, which sucks. Like I wasn't really a denier. I was like, man, that'd be so cool if it was true. And I really believed it at first. But as it went on, as it got closer to release, I was like, it's probably gonna be well, I mean, obviously I wasn't expecting at all what it actually was. But I was like, it's probably gonna be like, I don't know, something it's probably not gonna be that. It's probably gonna be like something TV related. Which I guess the Woody Theory stuff was a cowboy show, but I thought it was gonna be more like something not TV related, something in the house, like I was a big like Mike. I thought Mike was gonna be the secret boss. I liked the idea of like microwave, which is really silly and wouldn't be cool and like would be kind of dumb, I think. But like that made more sense to me than Woody Theory. But I am fully on board with Woody Theory, mostly because we don't have many other good candidates for the secret boss aside from the Petalee stuff, um, which even kind of is Woody Theory in a way. I like the idea of it being an original character. I think it will be an original character, but I think it will be an original cowboy themed character. I would like the idea if it was like a PNB thing where he's kind of twisted and kind of creepy. I think that'd be cool. Um, yeah, I'm a big Woody Theory Chapter 5 believer. I believe. Let's see what some of these people have to say in the comments before we go back to this theory. Between the first and the second. Oh, I think Asgore's special flowers took the form of darkness based on his family. Why? Why do you? Oh, since it's okay. Since it's his family, they all love him unconditionally and be. I like the idea of Asgore's Dark World having like strange darker manifestations of kind of like a Persona 5 thing where they're like the shadow versions like of all of his friends and family, but they all like him, which would be really sad and depressing. But I mean, I think that's kind of where this game is heading. Um, but I'm thinking one probably based on Azuro Flower, maybe that's one. I hate the flowy stuff. Could someone please like I don't know. I need someone to break down why it could be good because to me all I see in it is bad. Me secret boss. Oh, that's creepy. Very cool. Woody Theory will never die, and as the years go by, I will never die. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, this is 4 months ago though. This is not this festival. It's all festival stuff. But yeah. Okay, back to this one. What am I doing? uh, we need to find the code, which couldn't be as easy as breaking it and getting it. Oh, wait, hold on. I need to catch back up on this. Okay, so Asgore goes back into Carol's house after we find out his secret. And they're talking about the secret bosses, enemies, blah, 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 all these enemies. I think the TV will be a secret boss. That's why I went over here. Okay, I got distracted. We need to find the code, which couldn't be as easy as breaking it and getting it. Probably will fight Noel's mom. I like the idea of... Why in the... Also probably experience the weird route. Yeah. I mean, this is worded so confusingly. I hope that it gets to the point soon. Fight Noel, fighting Carol, I don't know about the bosses in the Dark World. Okay, a Carol boss in the Dark World would be cool. I think in chapter 5 we could see Carol in a Dark World, and I think that'd be really cool. And I think that would like deconfirm the Carol is the night stuff. I was a big Carol believer when I first played it, but after like a month, even like less than that, yeah, the mini boss. Okay, so there's gonna be a Noel. I think that Noel's house will be a Dark World, but I don't think it'll be the chapter 6. But let's see what this person has to say. The throuple will be okay. Yeah, they got these 3 Santas. There's gonna be a piano scene. I like the idea of like a piano darkener. There already was one in chapter 4, but like I think it'd be cool. The shadow crystal room. We have to go to prove Asgore getting since we are strong, hence getting a weapon. Wait, the shadow crystal room where we will have to prove as. Okay, so Asgore will be like the secret boss there, I guess. It must also be cold. What's cold Undertale? What gimmick is in it? Okay, so Blue Soul. I do think Blue Soul will show up. This feels like chapter 6 though. I doubt that this would be chapter 5. But again, like we can't really make patterns anymore based on what chapter 3 and 4 did to blew everything out of the water. That was it. Goodbye. What is this? Okay. I guess you did a good job, sir. Um. Yeah, this guy agrees with me. Holiday Mansion is probably chapter 6 stuff. There is two big lord, but yeah, but I do think that there will be two Dark Worlds in chapter 5. I think that it will be um I think that it will be the festival and the flower shop. Sorry, I don't know why it took me so long to get out, but you know what I mean. Okay. I talked about that on the podcast, I think, but this is just for my own for your own stuff. So I can look back on these when chapter 5 comes out and I can be like, "Wow, I was right." What is going on with chapter 5? Or rather, what do I think is going to happen in chapter 5? All right, I love this is fun. I really like reading these, I gotta be honest. I'm really enjoying this. Um hopefully like if they reach out to me and say like, hey, like don't see my content, like that's horrible, then I'll take it down. But I don't know. Hopefully, I think that the community is pretty chill about that kind of stuff. So I'll link them and stuff and give them credit. Yeah, obviously, I think this post alone is probably gonna get more views than my video. So in any case, I feel like a newscaster. I'm reviewing all the news that I missed out on. Firstly, the setting. I think it's fairly likely that chapter 5 will take place in the flower shop. Doesn't really take into account the festival. Maybe they'll talk about that. This is mainly due to the fact that Gerson implies chapter 5 may feature the field of pink and gold. This blew my mind when I first saw it. Pink and gold, those two colors, they haunt my dreams. A place where the colors pink and gold often appears with flowers. Furthermore, flowers are often found in fields. Okay, yeah, I, I kind of decided that as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Yep, to the flower shop." But there's already a golden flower found in the flower shop. Like the flower shop was theorized to be chapter 5 a while ago. We didn't really have any evidence. We were just like, yeah, it kind of would make sense. But like after all this, it's like it has to be. And that's why I think there'll be two Dark Worlds, because I think he's making it so obvious, and he even has Asgore's friggin' thing in the prophecy. And it's like that's so obvious. So that's why I think it's gonna be like we're gonna go through chapter 5 Flower Dark World. It's gonna be kind of emotional with Asgore and stuff. It's gonna be over, and then we're all gonna be like, all right, well that was it. And then there's gonna be like a surprise other Dark World. It's gonna be like a super long chapter. That's what I think. I think it'd be cool. And I think that it would fit in with like not revealing too much about the plot, but in the same no, it would still be fun if you were playing it. So a lot of these theories you got to think about like would this theory still be fun if you were playing it for the first time after all the chapters were out? You know what I mean? Like if you're like if you were playing a game and you came this is impossible, but if you were like in the middle of playing the game and you came up with a Woody theory, would it be as fun? Because you'd get answers so soon, you know? And I think with Woody theory like it kind of gets destroyed when you think about it in that context like if you believe in Woody theory and then Woody theory just comes true, it wouldn't be as fun, I think. I don't know. And plus, it'd be hard to even get to Woody theory anyway in terms of just playing the game. I'm kind of rambling. I didn't really explain my point very well, but that's kind of what I mean. I think a lot of these account for the fact that like it's coming out in chapters. Like this to me is like or I don't know. Like I feel like it'd make more sense if it's just like yeah, the Philippine goal. Obviously, that's the next chapter is the the flower shop. But then it's like a big twist that there's another one, and that would work well with being like just a continuous playthrough and like waiting for the titles to come out. I don't know. I don't think I'm making sense, but whatever. Golden flower. Yeah, let's move on. This is especially likely to be tied to Asgore, and thus the flower shop, considering Gerson is already tied to Asgore through Undertale, where they're said to be old pals. Aw. Yeah, well, yeah, I like the idea of Gerson and Asgore being friends, but Asgore hasn't talked anything. Asgore hasn't been associated with Gerson in Deltarune yet. Next, who's there? Well, Chapter 5 really does take place in the flower shop. I think it's undeniable that Asgore will most likely appear. Okay. Even if he takes a role in similar tutorials in Chapter 3. I think that he'll be more prevalent in his chapter. I really do. But everyone's kind of expecting that. I think there's another character people... Hmm. Alright. You know what? I'll be honest. I was just asking, like, please make this flowery thing interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe they'll win me over. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, it would make sense, but it doesn't. Now, of course, the flower wouldn't be Azrael like Fire from Undertale it is, mainly because Azrael's probably not dead. But this flower would be a dark... Well, then it's... See, that's the thing. It's like, then it's not Flowey. Then it's just a flower character. Yeah, it happens to take on the personality, has abilities, saves, and resets, which is already game-breaking. And that already overrides Gaster's stuff, so I don't think that it would be real. I think that he would have to be so toned down that he'd be unrecognizable as Flowey. You know? Oh, in Undertale, Flowey is, at least in my opinion, the main antagonist, considering he repeatedly opposes the goal of the antagonist, Frisk, unless you're on genocide or whatever. Thus, I think he will be the main antagonist of the 5. If Flowey's there, his personality... The main antagonist? Over Asgore? If Flowey's there, his personality pretty much dictates he has to be an antagonist of some sort, unless he wants to make some kind of deal with the fun gang that's inappropriate. Furthermore, I think the idea of him appearing as Omega Flowey, it's a more humanoid form, makes the most sense. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, it's a very well thought out theory. Like, I really enjoy the... it's not for me, I guess. But I really do appreciate all the work that was put into it. What's Asgore doing? Many people have already made their conclusion that Asgore would either be the main antagonist or secret boss chapter 5. I think it would make more sense to be the secret boss. I think it makes more sense if it's the antagonist. Because Asgore isn't a secret. Like, none of the secret bosses have been in your face. Ever. And none of them have been Lightners, which I guess a secret boss could be a Lightner. I guess if you're talking about the wrong knight, but... Like, I don't know. I feel like it makes more sense for Flowey to be the secret boss. I don't know why. I think the reason people want Flowey to be the main antagonist is because they'd be like, oh, it'd be cool. You know. This is mostly due to the fact Asgore is a shadow crystal, as shown in chapter 4, and thus would probably drop it in the Dark World. Plus, Asgore in Undertale is striving for freedom from the underground, further tying Asgore in general to the want for freedom. This does make sense thematically, considering Asgore strives for freedom from the life he's been before. Okay, that is true. I actually do enjoy that. I like the idea of him being tied to freedom. But I think it'd be more interesting if maybe in his final boss, the freedom motif plays for the first time in a non-secret format. And it's like, whoa! Because he wants freedom. Because there's no rule that says all the secret bosses have to be tied to freedom, and it's only the secret bosses. And because I don't know, the structure. I feel like I think we should make more theories that don't rely on the structure, or that predict the structure breaking. You know, and none of that whole thing I just said is probably going to anger some people. But I do think it'd be cool for the freedom motif to be in Azor's fight, and for him to be the final boss of chapter 5. Oh, and even if he doesn't strive for freedom, it doesn't really matter since Gerson didn't either, and he still got to go to the secret boss. General plot outline. 5 will probably not be a repeated encounter like Queen or Tenna, but more similar to King or Knight in chapter 4, not often directly intervening with the fun gang until... Oh, would it be... Just put squad, if you're referencing Susie's whatever, to the end of the chapter. But this means someone else will have to do throughout the rest of the chapter. I think this will be the other flowers in the flower shop. Perhaps their personalities and designs embody the soul traits. It's so much Undertale stuff. Like, this is a different thing. If... I don't know how to say this. If the game ends and it was all Undertale, I would be very disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. I think that Deltarune should be Deltarune and Undertale should be Undertale. They're both amazing games, but... And Toby's even said before that, like, he thinks that they are... Yeah, well, whatever. Oh, and as for Asgore, well, I don't think he'll have that major a role besides the secret boss. I really don't know what he'd be up to. Maybe you could figure that out, but I don't know. I'm more interested in the fly part anyway. Yeah, this person kind of goes exactly against what I think, but that's what's important. To look at other perspectives and decide what you believe in. And I believe that this is wrong. The souls. But I will say, this is the most fun I've had doing this video yet. You know, breaking down theories and talking about them. Almost like a pseudo-theory review, but more in depth than what Spooky Dude does. The souls, other flowers, will probably be threats to the fun... I almost said it, what the heck. I've sworn before in my life. To the fun gang, as they go through the Dark World, before eventually directly helping Flowey during his boss fight. The souls? Or other... yeah. Just like an Undertale, but at the end of the fight, you, like, convince them to stop being evil and stuff, and you could call for help. Perhaps there'd be an act called Call for Help during the Flowey fight or something. So, yeah, that's it. Hope you liked my little theory. You know what? I enjoyed the theory. I enjoyed the thought process. I enjoyed everything you put into it. I don't agree, like, at all. But I want this person to make more theories. What is this person? Deleted. Oh. Oh man, I wonder why they deleted their account. This is made 4 months ago. Wait, no, I was gonna say it's possible. Wow, no, 4 months ago. Wow, that is so long. Like it just came out. I like these memes where it's like pretending the chapter already came out. All right, and one more. This is the last one for this episode. This is episode 1 of my Deltarune theory reviews. I'll do these every now and again. I just had so much fun yesterday, so I want to get more. Maybe I'll put like some music next time that's not Deltarune, even though I would love to do Deltarune, but it's all getting copyright struck. 'Cause I'm nervous. I've already had problems with um whatever. Maybe I'll have guests on sometime too, because this is becoming a whole thing that I'm enjoying. This chapter 5 theory doesn't quite sit right with me. Ooh. Ooh, I just like see this big block of text and I get so excited. Let me actually zoom it in so I can read it better. Boop, boop, boop. Get this out of here. Whatever. Look at all this. I'm being claustrophobic as heck. The Soul Stopper. All credit goes to them. Let's get it. This chapter 5 theory doesn't sit quite right with me. I have to burp. Okay. So if you didn't know, a leading theory is that Asgore will be the main or at least a major boss in chapter 5. That's what I agree with. This is based on Gerson's dialogue summarizing the 5th chapter of the Lord of the Hammer during the Hammer of Justice fight. Chapter 5, the Field of Pink and Gold. The vast garden is charred and the... Oh, should I do the voice? Chapter 5, the Field of Pink and Gold. This vast garden is charred in an inferno of jealousy. That's my best impression of Salty Duty Can's voice. Austin's doing his voice in the dub, so I can't, whatever. People theorize that the vast garden refers to Asgore's flower shop, Flower King, and that the Inferno of Jealousy refers to Asgore using fire attacks out of rage. Oh, okay. Yeah, I never thought about that, but I guess that would make sense. Charred. But I think Gerson's... Because he talks about how, like, oh, everything's, like, it's changed, or, like, the main story has been altered and stuff. He heard about Lord of the Hammer, like, the first 4 chapters he talked about were kind of different from what actually ended up happening. Like, what was it? It was like, yeah, oh, like, chapter 2 was like the heroes go in chariots to save the queen or whatever. And they did ride in chariots, but they weren't to save the queen, it was to go. So there's like, I think that there's some dissonance between what he says, because that's his whole thing, is that like the prophecy can be rewritten, the story can be changed. So I think that that is likely, that like that the fire attack stuff, but I also don't know. I'm wary of taking everything at face value here, but we'll move on. This is also supported by a piece of the prophecy in Hidden Room reading The Flower Man trapped in asylum and depicting Asgore wearing a crown with a flower between his hands. This piece's name in the game is SPR_DW_church_prophecy boss 3 icon, yeah. Which follows the naming conventions for the prophecy, yeah. Well, this also supposed to Asgore naming boss. That's another piece of evidence that directly contradicts that last theory with Flowey. Like, directly, like exact. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of fly. I'm a big fly. Azrael's my favorite character in Undertale. Anyway, we're not talking about that right now. I won't. That was a rant for earlier. But this brings up questions. Why would Asgore be an antagonist? Why would he cause an inferno, and of jealousy at that? Well, let's talk about that. Now, I think the previously mentioned prophecy piece is good enough evidence to believe Asgore will be the main boss of Chapter 5. Why and how Asgore would be willing to harm children, including one of his own, is a whole other thing, but that's not what I'm focusing on here. What feels off to me is the jealousy part. How could Asgore be so jealous as to fly into a fit of rage and start an inferno? Sans? I don't know. We'll call this Inferno theory. What feels off to me is the jealousy part. I am hooked, I will say, even though I don't know about taking it literally. I don't think that completely disregards the theory, because sure, let's just assume that they take it literally. Like why not? Many people think it is a romantic jealousy. Asgore decides to get back with Toriel, but obviously she rejects him, and now she's becoming suspiciously close with Sans the skeleton. But I just don't think Asgore would be the kind of person to become angry about this. I think he'd become more like sad and depressed. In Undertale, we never actually see Asgore be angry, even during an event where he should be when an invader is massacring his people. True. We only hear him being angry once when Azrael and by extension Kara were killed by humans, leading into declaring a war. All this seems to imply that Asgore is a man who is rarely angry, and then only in extreme situations. Personally, I don't think Asgore will see his ex getting with another man in the same way as his children being murdered. Honestly, if Asgore does have a significant reaction to Toriel and Sans' relationship, it'll probably be depression and hopelessness that his family will never be whole again. Not anger. That's what I think. Yeah, he'll be sad. That's exactly what I said earlier. So then, what could this Inferno of jealousy be? In general, I don't think Asgore is a very jealous or envious man. Is it possible then that the Inferno is not referring to Asgore? Gerson's summary never states that the Inferno will be in relation to the Flower Man. We simply know that will be an Inferno and that Asgore will be present during the story somehow, likely a boss. Okay. Interesting. This is chapter 5. Sorry, I just saw this. I don't know what Sans is doing. Drinking ketchup, I'm assuming. That would be funny. So what if the Inferno itself is actually caused by someone else? At this point, I'm making conjectures. In other words, guesses based on no evidence. I'm just spitballing possible ideas. Maybe the flowers, as doctors, will come into play. Asgore treats them with care, as like with his children, but with Asgore's... What happens when Asgore's attention is taken by his real child, Chris? Maybe the flowers will retaliate. I love that idea. I love the idea of... Oh, I love that idea so much. That is such a unique idea. So, I mean, obviously, this is just a conjecture. This isn't like a. This is more of like a fan fiction at this point, which is fine. Like I don't think I think theories and like quote unquote fan fiction should like go hand in hand because they're sort of similar. Hold on, let me check my phone. Where's my cell phone? I need to be on because I gotta leave it a bit. Hold on. Get your snack break. Snack break over. Continue. Oh yeah, so the flower thing. I love the idea of like Asgore's, you know, wanting his family so bad that he starts to like, whoops, it starts to neglect his actual flowers, and then they become evil. That is the most because that's the thing with like the flower stuff is like the flowers could be darkness, but you have to make that compelling. And I think that this is really compelling. I think this would be a really fun idea. And if not, I want to see someone make a fan game and I'll play it on the channel. Um, yeah. Ralsei is theorized to have fire magic. Apparently, Ralsei uses fire magic in Act Chapter 4. Does he? I haven't like I know chapter 1 and 2 front and back, but honestly 3 and 4 there's probably still a lot of details, like smaller details that I'm not as keen on. Could he somehow become jealous? I can't see our Flame Boy becoming genuinely becoming rageful, but is it possible that he'll be jealous that Susie's becoming a better healer, thereby filling Ross's role in the party? I don't think he's that petty. I do think this is this is a thing people have talked about before that could be, but I don't think that I obviously don't think Azrael's that bad. I'll say is that petty. Maybe he'll use/learn an attacking spell with fire. This would work from a gameplay standpoint, making it more useful in battle. Some dialogue indicates that Azrael will come home for the festival. Maybe Azrael will end up in a dark one and use fire. It's kind of a stretch, but maybe he'll be jealous that Chris has made new friends, replacing his status as your best friend. But I don't know. This would work for young, uninitial Azrael Fire, but not mature college-age golden boy Azrael. We love Azrael, but yeah, this one I definitely don't. Some dialogue indicates, right? I actually kind of glossed over that sentence. I don't know what dialogue indicates that, but interesting. That would be a great way to start the chapter off. As Azrael came home, whoa, and then he gets all wrapped up in our shenanigans. And if he was part of the original fun gang, because I like I forget what that theory is called. Not Shattered Cage. Oh whatever. The theory about like how there was another fun gang, the dark fun gang, not the dark fun, whatever. This last one is really a stretch, but maybe the charring in Inferno was metaphorical, not literally fire. Actually, this one, that already, I feel like makes more sense than any of these, except for the flower one. I just think the flower one is so cool. What if it's another sort of damage, like ice? Could Noelle fall into a dark world again? Could she be jealous either of Chris or becoming close to her crush, or of Susie for becoming close to her estranged childhood friend? So, like, yeah, she gets so mad that, like, she destroys the garden, even though it's not fire, but it's, like, char... Because, again, like, the whole Gerson's thing isn't exactly what happens. It's believed the Weird Rot was significantly changed in Chapter 5. Could this be... Oh, it is! I forgot about that. The Big Five. Okay. No, Chelsea doesn't matter. I Inferno theory. I subscribe to that. That is a new theory. It's going in the bank. I agree. I don't think Asgore will cause the Inferno of jealousy. I think it'll be someone different. Ooh, you want to start off with okay. Let's end it off with these last two here. I'm gonna make sure to link all these in the description, by the way. So actually, I should probably just open back up the ones I already closed. Uh, I was watching Game Grumps earlier. Don't mind that. Open a new tab. This one, why didn't you look at that one? Boop. My humble theory. Yeah. This one. That's it. Okay, that's the flower one. This is the silly goofy one. This is the secret boss one. Okay. I'm going to link all 6 of these in the description. But for now, Cowboy Secret Boss. 3 to the 5 mini theories. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So we now know what it looks like when different people or wills create a dark fountain. But when Chris makes a dark fountain, everything looks the same as all the other chapters. This either says that Chris has been opening the dark worlds for the night, or the day and the night will share the same will, if that makes sense. I tend to think it's the latter because... Wait, hold on. Hold on. That stuff always confuses me with the dark fountains and like the different wills and stuff. It's just a Chris has been opening dark worlds. Chase and Will. Okay, yeah, I really like the idea of like that's why all those dark worlds look the same. The ones that Chris has been opening, one of the Knights been opening, because they have the same like goal with their fountains. I think it's a ladder because Queen, and I know that like it's such an ambiguous idea, and I know it's gonna come into play. They wouldn't just throw it away in chapter 4 and just this random throwaway thing. Like the idea of like the other like the different colored fountains are gonna become a big thing, and I gotta really get a concrete idea of what I think. I think that this is a good idea, but I still haven't fully bought into it. I tend to think it's the latter because Queen and King seem to have the night open a dark fountain where Ram knows that Chris opened the chapter 3 fountain specifically. Whoa, there was no comments in that, so I read that weird. I tend to think it's the latter because Queen and King seem to have seen the night open a dark fountain where Ram knows that Chris opened the chapter 3 fountain specifically. Okay. Yeah, this part I don't really make sense, but this part does make sense. Boop. Whoa. Gerson talks about chapter 5 briefly, where we learn that it's mostly probably going to be in the Flower King, while the window shows the image of petals blowing in the wind, very evocative of cherry blossom trees. We saw a cherry blossom tree in 2 different newsletters. The second time around, it's been tweaked to look better. Oh, we did. I forgot about that. Wow, that could be part of chapter 5. We learned about alphas in the comic books and the manga. Whoa, an anime theme? Where Hunter would be losing his mind. Place where anime is real. An unlike gun, she could finally have her anime is real arc. Mini theory here. Checking Asgore's fridge shows a photo from his wedding with Toriel where she's holding a bouquet of colorful flowers. The theory is that these flowers are the same ones that he is trying to keep alive in the glass containers, which is extremely sad. Oh. I don't know what that would matter for like the story and stuff, but that I mean that might one of those things that might never get revealed, but that could be, and that would be sad. Colorful flowers, that's probably exactly what it is. I never thought about that. And that could even more make the evil flowers jealous thing cooler. Oh. Okay, well. Not really much to talk about there. Woody theory is real. Woody theory 2026. When your cope is slowly dying. Yeah, when your cope is dying, meaning yeah. And then, whoops. Oh, I thought I got a text. Last one. This is so much fun. Maybe okay. So this one was very like themed around like the flower stuff and chapter 5 stuff. Maybe I'll look at some different theories. Like I'll look at some different ideas later on. But I want to do more like this, where I look on Reddit or Twitter on stuff and look for threads that are like this, kind of similar to how the green gaster thing was. All these kind of mini theories, because a lot of these have like a good amount of like oh, this one has a lot, but like maybe if you see it on YouTube, get some attention, go over there, give it a like, make a comment under it, talk about it with people. And I'm just here to cover it and give it some attention, even though I'm kind of a smaller channel, but All right. Ooh, I just love this so much. During the secret curse and boss fight, he lists the chapters in order of the hammer. Yep, we know about all this stuff. Oh, this was yeah. The city of the I didn't even talk about the city of the shining. Stephen King. The heroes do battle in chariots to save the queen. Right. That is not what happens. Anyway, so I was going to involve Asgore. All of these are Asgore related flower stuff. Let's see. If this is the same theory, that'd be kind of interesting. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's Undertale stuff. All right. We'll see. As other Reddit users have pointed out, the chronological order of the Dark Worlds is the inverse Is it? I never thought about that. Chapter 1 is the inverse of New Home. New darkness settle, much like how New Home was with them. Or New darkness settle. Oh, I guess the Castle Town. The king that cannot be spared. Yeah. Okay, yeah. The core. Okay, strengthen Neo. Hotland, TV show, Metaton. Ooh. And yeah, yeah. But why would he do that? Okay, I guess it's so like not obvious that you can very easily like disconnect the two, right? It's like, oh, just a cool little Easter egg. Like, they kind of look, like the Undertale thing. Not necessarily being like, oh, it's just an Undertale parallel, even though it is Undertale's parallel story. Maybe someday I'm gonna have to accept that these two games can't ignore each other, but I I don't know. I don't like my food touching. So employing both theories, Shelter 5 will both be flower themed, but also Snowden themed? How would that work? There's been a lot of Christmas stuff. I believe the festival tomorrow is a winter festival. Yeah? Noel's room. Oh, okay. Hmm. That's that is some that is really good. That is really good thinking. Maybe it's sister. But the only result that coming up is Christmas. December is referred to as the last month, placing us in January. The decorations also seem to be winter themed. If the next Dark World would happen at the festival, which is heavily implied at the end of chapter 4, it is likely that the world will be winter themed with several winter festivities to Snowden. Who do we meet in Snowden, who is also in the process of taking Asgore's girl? Sans! Okay. While I was going cool environment is also indicative that the environment is under stress. So I think that in this dark world, the darkness are under threat from the Flower King, who is slowly warming up their environment to grow flowers and to stop them. The specific use of the word inferno of jealousy, though. You didn't acknowledge the of jealousy part. Okay. I'm gonna ask what's up to something. It is in cahoots with Carol, so it doesn't seem far fetched. I don't know. No title. The weird round chapter 5. I believe now that the deleted visual that plays after you forced during the round chapter 4 was supposed to be a hint at this. Noelle has shown the value of flowers after she believes that Susie's offered her one. Oh, yeah? Metaphorical powers are symbol of external validation to Noelle, which she does not seem to care about during the weird route as she builds more self-confidence. When the wilting rose visual plays after we become locked into the weird route, it is not only metaphorically symbolic of Dwell becoming changed, but also literally showing us that she is now the antithesis to flowers. Chapter 5 being a winter setting that is in need of protection from flowers would be a perfect setting to use for Noelle's ice magic. She would perceive it as being for the best. Okay. Because she's more powerful. I think that the game ends chapter 5 if you choose. Whoa! I think that would be crazy because that would actually make sense too because of the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and there's nothing else after it in the. Man, that would be cool. This year is kind of all over the place, but overall, this last bit here, I really like. Um, all right, I would love to do more, but I think all right, last one. Then we're all done. I mean, almost been an hour. This person notes each other's private friend. We have to see. Look, it's literally the guy, the funny us people that Toby's making fun of. Okay, this is gonna be a quick one. Flower Child Asylum. Asylum, yep. Offering shelter. Go on. Oh, that's it. That's it. We figured it out. All right, well, thank you guys for joining me for this. This was so much fun. This is really good stuff. I want to do more of this. Someday, I really want to make my own theory. I want to say, like, even though some of these I was kind of harsh to, like, credit to all these people, dude. Like, it's seriously amazing that they can think about all this stuff and make these theories. It's so amazing to me and so special. So thank you all for keeping this community. Well, I mean, I don't think it was ever dying, but thank you for continuing to keep it alive. I want to read more of these. I want to do a different topic next time, maybe something different than just chapter 5 stuff. But yeah, this has been really fun. Go give all the good things to these people. Give them all your subscriptions or whatever, your upvotes or whatever you do. Wait, there's more? I didn't. Oh man, I did my little outro. You know what? Maybe we'll start the next episode with this one. We'll start the next episode with okay. So your cliffhanger was the shelter thing. we're gonna start the next episode with learning about what the shelter could mean for chapter 5. See ya, lovelies.